Hey everybody, my name is Young Falcon and welcome to my open discussion on Guilty Gear Strive Open Beta 2. And I'm here to pretty much announce I don't think I'm going to be playing much more of it, guys. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. There is way too much that they've changed, way too much that I'm just not a huge fan of. And honestly, it is upsetting. Like, they have done the nuclear option once again, and it is very hard to sit down and want to commit myself to the same amount of hours that I put into with, say, the Guilty Gear Strive Beta 1. I know this is going to sound weird, but please allow me to explain. There's a lot of gameplay changes that they've made for this beta and added new characters and stuff, and it feels a lot different than the first beta, in my personal opinion. And if you go on Reddit or Twitter and just scroll through Guilty Gear's, Strive's hashtag and people talking about it, and just look on streams and, real streamers talking about the game, I think we all kind of agree that there is definitely some funky stuff going on with the gameplay here. So just as a way to cover myself a little bit. On another note, it's not that I'm a scrub or that I'm awful at the game. I mean, I consider myself okay. I'm a good to mediocre player. I reached the Celestial floor and did all the stuff for the first beta, and the second beta I'm currently at floor 10. So I'm kind of like, you know what I mean, or I'm just there, and I don't really feel the need to keep playing it and grinding it because it just doesn't feel fun to play, to be completely honest with you. I'm just not having the same amount of fun that I've had playing the first beta. And it's not that the game is bad or anything. It still looks gorgeous. It still sounds incredible. I still love playing Giovanna, and I really enjoy learning these new characters on Jimizo and Ino. But there is a slew of issues that are making it not fun to experience, in my personal opinion, which we're going to cover right now. Let's start with my biggest gripe, which is the air dash changes. They made a lot of changes to the forward/back air dash, and I'm not a big fan of what they're doing here. The back air dash is extremely sluggish and covers basically no ground, and I don't know all the technical specifics of it, but it just feels chonky. If you ever perform a back dash, you're guaranteed to actually set yourself up for a block string scenario, and you're just getting ready to either eat a lot of damage and get ready to get blown up, or you're setting up for just not really being able to do much after you run away. Like, it's very not fun to use. Some characters do kind of benefit from it a little bit. I think Kai Kisuke is a character who just benefits from the overall weird buff the gameplay feel gave him, which we'll kind of get into a little bit later, but you get the gist. There's just a couple of issues with the air dashing mechanics, and they can easily be rectified, which we'll talk about later in the end of the video. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that. Another one that I really wasn't a fan of is just the overall game feel. I feel like there's this really heavy input delay on everything I do, from training mode to actual matches, and it makes the game feel like I'm playing that delay based, you know what I mean, and not that rollback. When I'm actually in a match, it feels fine, it's obviously rollback and things are going great, but I'm feeling this chonky connection on everything that I do, and it's just not a good time. But I'm also starting to question if they're throwing on extra delay depending on what it is, and that's because when I'm playing matches, I'm running into stuff that is not really rollback, if that makes sense. A couple examples I have is when I was playing a match against, I believe, a Kai player, whatnot, and it started lagging. Like, it started lagging, like genuinely lagging, and you couldn't press buttons, and it was doing this weird stuttering, and I don't know if it was rollback trying to catch up with the frames and whatnot, or if it was just the guy's internet, being kind of shoddy and all that. So it was weird, and that happened to me a handful of times throughout the course of the beta so far. So I don't know, again, if they're messing with some stuff in the background or what, but just something to keep your eye on. I think people kind of know what I'm talking about. We see all this weird stuttering going on, but yeah, it was strange. But aside from that, it just feels clunky. Moving around both on the ground and in the air just feels very It feels like I'm weighted down by like training weights or something after every input I put out, and doing all my combos and stuff just doesn't feel nearly as rewarding. My block strings feel fake, and everyone's strings just don't feel genuine. Like, if I'm ever getting attacked, I usually just start mashing 6P or whatever, and I'm free, or sorry, not 6P. I just start mashing my standing punch, and I'm usually out of there, and it's just weird because I know that didn't work before, but it does now, and there's just so many issues I have. I don't know, and everyone's been kind of doing the same things. Everyone's doing their same get off me free cards, and it's just weird. A lot of the changes they've made are not working out for me personally, and I feel like you guys are going to be seeing those kind of thoughts online too, if you see where I'm coming from. it is just jarring, to say the least. Some characters are really hampered by this awkward air dashing stuff they're doing. Ino instantly comes to mind. Ino's one of the weirder ones because she has a lot of extremely fun tight link combos, and if it was the previous beta, I know for a fact you'll be able to hit all of these with flying colors. She can use her dive kick and cancel out of it by pressing the same button you use for each dive kick, and further expanding it with all these awesome combos and stuff, and it's very hard to pull them off because there's this weird input delay and jank with the air dashing mechanic itself. So you're trying to do air dashes and you're trying to do these block streams and they just don't work. But if you go in training mode and see these people on Twitter and stuff do these block strings, it is insane the stuff they can do, and it genuinely looks like a top tier threat character, and it looks a lot of fun. And then you take it into an actual online environment or a match, or even in the same training mode, it's just inconsistent. You're seeing these people try to hit this stuff again and they can't, and I'm pretty sure it's because of the weird input delay and air dash mechanics that are all getting reworked right now. So I don't know what's going on with that. Giovanna's weird like micro step thing is a little bit harder to pull off, which is strange, and I feel like a lot of characters kind of micro step stuff is getting kind of washed away because again of the gameplay changes. And it's just very annoying that a lot of the systems that they had in previous Guilty Gears, they're just not using to fix a lot of these issues. Like, hey, how about we just bring back the old Guilty Gear air dashing stuff, and also instead of you just being able to block for free in midair, you have to use faultless defense to block in air, just like the old games, I believe so. And that would honestly fix a lot of the issues I have with Strive right there. Like, for me, I don't mind the Gatling system and stuff too much. Again, like I've stated before, I don't really need to do punch, kick, slash, heavy slash, and then combo stuff. Like, I'm perfectly okay with doing close slash, heavy slash, and going into my crazy strings and RCing and all of that. That's fine. But please give us some things to rectify how annoying it is to constantly have to chase people down in fights and stuff because they're running away backdashing, or now just holding back to block, and it's just this long block fest until the timer's at like 30 seconds. Like, that's not Guilty Gear. that's not. And also, please, again, tune the damage a bit. The damage is still a bit too high, bro. It is still a little too crazy. I don't understand. While you can just press one button and they do a special attack, or a I guess we'll call it their overrides or whatever, and you whiff to counter, it's counter, and you just a standing like light kick or whatever, and you're just done. Your health bar is gone. It's like, that's a little annoying, especially considering in previous GGs you would knock them out of it and they have invincible startups and stuff, which is just so Dragon Ball. Like, I'm not a fan of fighting games that do that personally, but whatever, that's a whole nother topic. So yeah, those are my main issues. The gameplay just feels very clunky, it's janky, everything feels very weighted, and it's just not the same. It's not fun to play for me as of right now. And I'm sure maybe it's like a placebo effect, maybe it really isn't like that. I was just blinded this whole time by the first beta, but no, I think there's genuinely something up with that air dash, and I'm not a fan of what they're doing with it. So that's my own personal take. Moving on, I think Ino definitely needs some changes if they are going to go the route they're doing, which is probably just rolling back and doing GG Strive 1's open beta, because her air strings and her guard strings are going to be absolutely nuts to deal with. And I really just wish there was some things that they could do to tune it down a little bit if they are again rolling back. If not, just keep everything the same. Finally, some things they could improve. How about we just do a little bit of fanboy wondering? Let's, like I said, bring back the old air dash mechanic, and instead of 2 bars of tension, let's do like 4 at the latest to test the waters, because personally, no one is touching tension from what I'm seeing. It's either people are using it all for faultless defense, so they're genuinely never get a chance to RC, like ever, and with all the new RC mechanics, with the blue being able to reposition, and the yellow being able to do a get off of gel free card, and stop block strings and stuff, and the red being able to extend combos and things like that. Like, there's so many things you could do with the RC that it's really cool, and I do like the change of slowing down time and slowing down characters and stuff, but you never see it in a match, because no one, even at pro play, gets to use these things, because the only person gaining meter is the person that's throwing hands. The person who's on the receiving end of that is just spending it for tension the entire time. And other GGs, you could argue that it was like that, but there was ways you could use all the plethora of different, colors of RC to freeze time and make those last minute split second decisions and stuff to micromanage your gameplay. Like, that's why those games were the way they were. That's why everyone was playing them. But since you rework the system, it's cool, but it can't just be a combo extender, Arxis. Like, that's what it feels like. You gotta do some other things that you already have there that genuinely feel like they should be used. Like, the purple RC would be nice to see more often, and the blue RC, and like, it's just, there's stuff that's in there that you just do not see, in my personal opinion, because you only have 2 chances in a match of extremely high damage to see that, pull off. So majority of people either save it for a special move or use it for faultless defense, and either tend to not even roam in cancel to extend combos at all, because it's usually much better damage to just push them to the wall meterless and then end it with a 50% kind of overdrive move. So that's an issue. That's definitely an issue in my personal opinion. Overall, maybe 4 bars to start to work with, so people could actually start utilizing some of the blue RC and yellow RC to get off of me instead of just the burst and things like that. Like, sure, start opening it up, and then, like I said, bring in that air dash, because with the 4 bars of tension to use, wow, now it makes sense to use faultless defense when you're blocking in midair. So you can still have those awesome backdashes, but you're gonna have to say, I'm committing to this backdash, and I know it's gonna be my get out of jail. I'm pulling up my FD, and then the other opponents, either do I chase this guy down and grab him, do I use my projectile? Like, there we go, we got some mind games, and the neutral is not as stealth as it once was. Again, this is all just what I would like to see. I'm not a game designer, I don't know much about this stuff. I'm just speaking from how I see Strive could kind of benefit from things. Now, again, that's all I have to say on the subject. I'm not, again, the guy to say I want the Gatling stuff back. Again, I think the Gatlings are fine. I think overall the combo routes do feel very fun to pull off for a majority of characters. I know some got neutered, some are not as fun as before, but for the most part, I'm chilling with everything. I just desperately need Arxis to listen and just revert, either revert or fix the air dashing or something, or revert back to the first beta, and then take out being able to block in midair if you backdash and whatnot, and just use faultless defense for it, right? I think that's your staple, and that alone would fix half of my issues with the neutral and GG Strive, like, no joke. Anyways, that's my suggestions, those are my thoughts, and I'm probably not going to be playing too much more of the beta, to keep it a buck with you. It's great still. I'm loving where Strive is going. Hopefully, if they take the right steps. But I'm just not in the mood. I'm just not in the mood to grind that one out, because I'm already sapped of my energy and just kind of done with it. Like, I feel like I've got my fill, and it's just okay to me. It just doesn't feel the same as beta 1. But that's just my personal opinion. What are your guys' down below? You have anything you think you could recommend to fix the beta? Do you agree with my thoughts? Do you disagree? If so, let's have a civil discussion, please, in the comments below. And I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day and peace. And if you continue playing the beta, hope you guys all have a good one. Hopefully, you'll have some fun in the Celestial Plane. If not, well, I'll see you guys on launch day. Oh, and as a side note, I literally cannot log into the game as of right now. It is May 15th. I've been clicking online match. I go to the lobby, and it doesn't log in. I'm really sick, Arxis.